everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope that you are having a fantastic day so far. I hope that by this point you are ready for Christmas. Am I? I'm not talking about that today. In today's video I'm going to be doing a full face of makeup using what I do believe are the oldest products in my collection from each category, so like the oldest foundation in my collection, the oldest concealer, etc, etc, etc. So this is basically, are these products any good? Do they deserve to be in my collection? Are they going to be out, or do I still think that they're good even though they are old? Now obviously I did a huge declutter in the summer of this year, so a lot of the like very old products and a lot of the very bad products have already made their way out of my collection because I got rid of them in that declutter. So these are the ones that remained, but I'm still making up my mind on them. So I'm just going to dive straight on in. If you like this video idea, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. If you haven't seen my face before, then hello, my name is Millie. I post all the cruelty-free makeup reviews and there's going to be loads more of that. In 2025, I have posted a new video every single day leading up to Christmas, so there's loads of content to catch up on if you are new here, but let's just start. I don't have any old primers. All of the primers that I've got are like fairly new. I don't really like a lot of primers, so I'm just going to go straight into a foundation, and this is the oldest one I do believe in my collection. It is the Essence Stay All Day 16 Hour Long Lasting Foundation, and I have this in the shade 8 Soft Vanilla. Cannot remember what I think of this. I seem to remember I liked it, but also just cannot remember, so I'm going to just use a little bit of this. I'm not going like, ooh, this is how old it is. It has indeed, can you see, like separated a bit. Yeah, can't remember what I think of this, but I seem to remember I liked it. I think the colour was very good for me. So let me just do a few pumps and give that a really good shake. Just embarrassing myself now, showing how old this product is. So that's better. It is quite liquidy, but I seem to remember it was quite a lot of coverage. So I've got 2 pumps there, taking a nice damp makeup sponge, and oh, it's very cold. I've just washed my makeup sponge and the hot water hadn't started coming through yet, so my sponge is incredibly cold, but actually that's quite nice. Nice and refreshing. I would love to know, do you know off the top of your head what makeup product in your collection is the oldest? Because for me, I think out of the products I'm going to use today, the highlight that I'm going to use is definitely the oldest one in my collection. I remember buying it. I was in Superdrug with my now husband, and I saw it and I was like, oh, I've been looking for this everywhere. It's been sold out online. And I've really wanted it. It was like, throw it in the basket, I'll get it for you. And that was like, whenever it launched, I think it was like 2016, maybe even before that. I'll have to look it up. There will be a record of it somewhere because it's the Soph and Revolution highlight palette. I still have it. I still really like it. But I distinctly remember buying it, and I think that that's the oldest product that I'm going to be using today. And I still use it regularly, that highlight palette. I still really like it. So let's get my mirror and look at this foundation real close up. Why do I not use that more? That's lovely. Story of my life. Really nice coverage. Not too much, but I feel like that's just evened everything out beautifully. The colour is like pretty much perfect for me. What did I say that was? 08 Soft Vanilla. I love that. Why do I not use that more? Then for concealer, the Studio London Flaunt Flawless Cream Concealer. This isn't that old. I remember doing a full like Studio London video, so it's like since I've had my channel. So it's not incredibly old, but probably the oldest one in my collection. Some of these will be like No, you got older than that. This is just me like guessing, basically, which ones are older. And of course, if they're incredibly, incredibly old, I don't want to be using them on my face. So there is that to contend with as well. I'm just going to use the same sponge to blend this out and try and lighten up down the centre of the face a little bit and around the eyes, etc. I remember that this concealer is quite matte, so let's see how this will blend out with my damp sponge. Oh, I'm not loving how that concealer is blending out. It looks it looks fine on my face, but around the eyes that's looking really dry and flapjacky, which is my way of describing like the texture that you get on your skin when a product is very, very dry and it sort of grabs in a little bit of a funny way. It just looks a little bit flapjacky, you know? And that's how my eyelids are looking. Yeah, it might be time for this concealer to go. Weightless full coverage. I mean, yes, it is full, well, not, I say that's full coverage, it's like a medium coverage. It's quite high medium coverage, but that is looking quite dry. I might have to like reassess that another day when perhaps I've got a better eye cream on underneath it, because I didn't use my favourite eye cream today. I will reassess in a day or two, but judging by this, I think it might be time for that concealer to go. So for bronzer, I'm going to be using the Kiko Lost in Amalfi Baked Bronzer. This is 01 Warm Melange. I love this bronzer. I already know I love this bronzer. This is absolutely staying. I love it. It's a beautiful warm bronzery shade. There's no like cool tonedness about it. It is warm and it is glowy and it is summery and it is beautiful. I love this bronzer. It's one that I use like off camera quite a bit. Obviously, like Kiko, a lot of their products are like in limited edition sort of collections, so you can't get this bronzer anymore, so I don't want to talk about products that you can't buy anymore because that's really annoying. But I really, really like this bronzer. I highly recommend Kiko for their bronzers, blush, highlight, powder products like that. Not necessarily their eyeshadows. I'm wanting to try some more in 2025. That is a plan of mine, to try out more products from Kiko, specifically products that are in their regular range that you can get all of the time, not like the limited edition stuff, but just their regular items. Because I don't think I've ever tried anything from the regular range. I've always just got things from the limited edition collections, and that just doesn't make sense, does it? Because then I don't want to talk about it when you can't buy them anymore. So that is the bronzer. I really, really like the colour, but I love the finish of it even more so. Like the very, very soft glow. It's the perfect amount of pigmented. It blends beautifully, but the very, very soft, glowy finish is just beautiful. Then for blush, I have got two of these and I can't remember which one I bought first, so I'm just picking this one today because I prefer this colour. This is the e.l.f. Bite Size Face Duo. This one is in pomegranate. When I first got these, I was using the, I mean, obviously that highlight shade is much too dark for my skin tone. I wouldn't be able to use that as a highlight on my skin. I was just using the blush and I was like very carefully just dipping my brush into the blush side. And then I think it was Jen Phelps, I saw her talk about these and she said to mix the two together, just like go right over both of the pans. And I don't know why that didn't even occur to me to do it that way, but I love using these in this way because I love a glowy blush. So dip into both of those and then tap off the brush and tap this over the cheeks so you get the beautiful blushy colour and it's glowy. It's so pretty. And these come in, or they did come in so many different colours. I don't actually know if you can get these anymore. If you can, I highly recommend them. I think that they're lovely. Now that I know how to use them, now that I know to mix the two together, I think that they are lovely. And again, not too pigmented, very buildable, love the colour, love the finish of the two mixed together. Now that I know that's how you're actually meant to use them, I really, really enjoy that blush. And like I say, I can't remember if it was this one. What did I say that one was? Pomegranate. I also have Guava, but that's more of a peachy sort of summery shade. Pomegranate is definitely like an autumnal wintry shade for me, which is obviously where we are at being at this stage in December. So I'm going to go off and do my brows. The oldest brow product in my collection by a country mile is this brow pencil. This is the tiniest little brow pencil. I really, really love it though. It's the Eyeshadow brow pencil in dark brown. Says the only bit of writing that I can read on this currently, because of course it's tiny and I've sharpened it, is firm texture pencil for precise brow shading. I completely agree. I love the texture of this brow pencil because it's so firm. You really can get those little hair-like strokes. This is the brow pencil that I used on my wedding day. I obviously feel very, very sentimental about it and don't use it enough because I don't want it to go. But ultimately, does it matter if I complete the brow pencil that I used on my wedding day? That just does not matter, does it? So I'm going to go ahead and do my brows and then we can continue with the eyeshadow palette. I'm excited but nervous. Okay, so that's the brows. I don't have a very, very old brow gel, so I'm just skipping that step today. Very unlike me, but just gonna skip it. For the eyeshadow, the oldest eyeshadow palette that is in my collection that I still feel safe to use. There are a few in my collection that I have and I'm just keeping for like sentimental reasons. The eyeshadow palette that I used on my wedding day, like the very first eyeshadow palette that I ever bought, but they are incredibly old, so I'm not going to be using those on my eyeballs because I don't want to spend Christmas Day with an eye infection. So this is the palette that I'm going to use today. It is the Revolution Forever Flawless Allure palette, and if I open this up you will be able to see this is very, very unlike me, but I did used to wear eyeshadow tones like this, sort of nudie warm pinks. I feel like a lot of the looks I've done in the last couple of days have been like nudie warm golden looks. It's not necessarily a very accurate representation on how I like to do my makeup these days. I do like a lot more colour, but if we're talking old makeup, this is the oldest eyeshadow palette in my collection, like I say, that I feel safe enough to use still. So I'm going to start with a big fluffy brush, and I'm not going to do anything too crazy today. I'm just going to do something on the grease, something on the outer corner and shimmer across the lid. So let's start with J'adore, this warm brown down in the bottom corner. Then I will probably use this shimmer, which is called Magnetic, and then I might deepen up the outer corner a little bit with this darker, like plummy tone, either the plum or the warm brown. We'll see how we go. So I'm just starting with a fluffy brush into J'adore, and I'm going to work this through the crease. I do feel like with eyeshadow palettes in particular, and even like face products like bronzers and stuff, it's very important to actually like look at them, check that there isn't any signs of like mold or anything funky like that. Also smell them. Like you would be able to smell if they started going a bit fusty, a bit dusty, if they started smelling just old. Like they will start smelling old when they start going bad. So for that reason I am safe using this one, or I feel I am safe using this one. There could be famous last words when I update you on Instagram in like 3 days time. I'm like, oh look, I've got an eye infection. Then it probably wasn't the best idea, but I'm doing it anyway. It's too late now. I've already started. So just running that shade under the eyes as well. Just a warm little wash or something. blending it out with that fluffy brush. Then I will take a much smaller brush, more of a tapered little thing, and let's go in with the dark purple. I do like that purpley tone. Get the cat hair off my brush, and I'm just going to deepen up on the outer corner with that one. So then I'm just going to blend over the edges of that darker purple, and I think I'm happy with the depth there. I do still feel like these eyeshadows are performing in the way that I remember them doing. They haven't changed in their like pigment or anything like that. That's another way of seeing if a palette has gone old, if the formula feels different, like if the formula is performing differently. I do feel like this is the same. So I'm going to go in now with, see, now I've used that purple, do I want to use a slightly more pinky toned shimmer? Yeah, let's go with that one. So that's Flaunt, this shade here, and I'm just going to use my finger to, ooh, pretty, to tap that lightly across the lid. So that's a little bit more cool toned, but I feel like with that purple on the outer corner, it's a nice little soft bit of something. I never thought that the shimmers in this palette were like blinding, you know, they were never like that, but for a little wash of something, they are pretty enough. So I'm just tapping that right out across the lid, and then one last little blend with that big fluffy brush. Very simple, but also very like, if I think back to how I used to do my makeup in like 2015, 16, this is how I used to do my makeup. This is all that I would do. And I would never really use colour. I would just use these warm tones, which I still love. I do still love, but I like incorporating quite a lot more colour now. So that's the eyeliner done. I'm going to just quickly go in with the highlight palette that I said about. So this is the Revolution Soph highlight palette. I was wondering if it said on the back of here what year this was made. That would be really helpful for people like me. No, it doesn't say. I mean, it says to only use it for 12 months. It's definitely 10,000% been more than that. So do as I say, not as I do. Don't use old makeup on your face. I'm gonna, but you shouldn't. You should respect your face more than that. So I'm just going to get, I want quite a fluffy little brush. Do I have one? No, let's just use a little like pencil brush. And I'm gonna dip, I actually have a huge pan. Well, not huge. I have a pan on that shade. That's the shade that I like using on my face. I will add a little bit of that, but I'm just gonna go in with the lightest white shade, and I'm gonna pack that right onto the very inner corner and disperse that out a little bit across the lid, but not too far. A really nice bright inner corner will make everything okay, even if it'll give me an eye infection. There we go. So that's built up really nicely on the inner corner. I still love that colour. I still really love that colour. So I'm just going to take my highlight brush and I'm going to dip into that lightest one that I just used on the inner corner and also the next one over. Just dip into both of those to get a nice bright icy but also a little bit champagne-y highlight shade for the face. It's Christmas, okay? If you can't wear the most blinding icy highlight at Christmas, then I honestly want nothing to do with it. Truly. Oh, highlight just brings me so much joy, and I'm really like spreading that out so that it catches the light from so many different angles. I love that. So I'm just going to add a little bit down the centre of my nose. Cupid's bow, like we're going full highlight mode. adding it everywhere. Glowy. I love it. So for eyeliner, I remember going and buying this eyeliner. I got it from the Wilko in my local town. That is no longer a shop. They are no longer even there. This is the Essence Long Lasting Eye Pencil. This is in 35 Sparkling Brown, and it still looks good. Like, it still looks as I remember it. You know, no signs of mold or anything funky like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get really, really close up to my mirror. So I won't be able to talk while I do this. I'm going to scribble this along the lash line, and then I'm going to take a little liner brush and like wing it out a little bit on the outer corner. Do like a little smoky, smudgy pencil wing. So let me get the brush that I want. And ooh, everything is falling everywhere all at once. And my mirror. And let's squiggle this along the lash line. It is very, very creamy. I've always loved these pencils for how creamy they are. So I'm just squiggling this along in between the lashes, and then I'm just going to start to flick this out a little bit, but not too much, because I do want to do it mostly just by smudging with that liner brush. So once I've got all of that colour on there, then I'm going over with that liner brush to just lightly tap and wiggle over the liner. Get it into the smudgy shape that I want it to be. And also, with it being a brown, I just feel like it's a little bit softer than a black. Like, it's just a really nice soft little bit of definition. So you can see the difference there where I've got that eyeliner and then nothing at this side. It just adds a little bit of depth, a little bit of glam. So now I'm going to try and do the same thing on the other side. There we go. So I feel like that has sufficiently deepened and darkened on the lash line. I'm very, very happy with how that looks. It's just a lot less than what I would usually do. But I do like it. So I don't have any old mascaras, you will be happy to hear. I do cycle through my mascaras very, very quickly, and I don't have any old ones. So I'm just gonna get one out of my drawers, do mascara, and then I do have old lip products. Forgive me, but I do have old lip products, so I'll do mascara and then we can do the lipsticks together. There we go. So that is the eyes done. And just for reference, the mascara that I was using is the PS Pro Extreme Lash Mascara in brown. Big fan. Big fan. So for the lip products, by far the oldest lip liner in my collection is the Revolution Satin Kiss lip liner in White Wedding. I think that this was the first lip liner that I ever bought. Before this and this formula, I had never really found a lip liner that I enjoyed, but I love this lip liner. Look how tiny it is. I actually have this in my Project 2025 pan series thing, and I honestly think it will be done. Like, not done, but there'll be so little of it that I'll be like, there won't be anything left to hold to actually draw the lip pencil onto my face. It's a very, very pink colour, but I really, really like it. Can you tell from this video that, like, when I first started my makeup collection and first started like properly getting into makeup, Revolution was the brand. Like, Revolution was the brand that everybody was using, but I feel like because I was just starting and I didn't have a lot of disposable income, I was working a tiny little part-time job, didn't have any spare money really. Revolution was like basically the only thing that I could afford. Like Revolution, Elf when Elf was like £1 and not £14 for a pressed powder, and Essence, like all of the very, very affordable brands. And so many of these products I still stand by, even now that I have a little bit more money. But these were like the cheapest products that you could find like in their categories. Then the lipstick. This is the Essence Care and Shine Vegan Collagen Lipstick. And that is the colour there can't be that much. Yeah, there's really not loads of that left. This is basically a lip balm, but it has a tiny little bit of colour and it feels lovely. That colour goes lovely with that lip liner. So even all those years ago, when I purchased this lipstick, even all those years ago, all I wanted was a comfortable, balmy feeling lipstick. And that is still absolutely what I feel now. So that is a full face of my oldest makeup. I think that this has gone remarkably well, considering a load of these products I haven't used in ages. Like that foundation, I cannot tell you the last time I used that foundation. But I think that that looks really, really nice. The only thing that I'm not sure on, and not thinking that I will probably declutter at some point, is that concealer. But everything else, I really, really like how that's turned out. The eye look is less than what I would usually do, but also I did feel quite limited because it was just a warm brown palette. Like there's only so much you can do, but I'm happy with how all of that has turned out. I would love to know, what is the oldest product in your makeup collection? Do you still feel safe using it? Do you still use it? I would love to know your thoughts on all of your old makeup products down below. But until next time, thank you ever so much for watching. Bye.